Yo, what's going on, everybody? The Boxing Source is checking in here, and I got a great guest here with me that's going to be chopping it up here. Just coming off of a great bout that he had on Friday night at the Scope Arena in Norfolk, Virginia, with a win over Eric Howard. He is there at just 19 years old with a record of 8-0 with 3 wins by way of knockout, hailing from Las Vegas, Nevada. It's the King. Robert, Meriwether III, what's going on?
Not much. Glad for you to have me.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Like I was mentioning there before, you had that bout against Eric Howard at the Scope Arena in Norfolk, Virginia, part of that Keyshawn Davis versus Gustavo Lemos card, top ranked card. Man, you were able to handle business and get a unanimous decision win, man. How you just feeling there with your performance?
I felt good. Definitely feel like there's things to work on. I've been studying my fight, been watching my fight. Uh, you know, so I can see the little flaws that I do have, but I know I'm gonna make sure make it up next fight and make sure I have a better performance next fight. But all in all, I feel like I did pretty good.
Yeah, in that particular fight, man, you were able to, probably gauge the distance there, and it's, good that you say that you were able to work on your flaws because, even with what was going on there with that, you almost scored a clean sweep on the cards. Like, two judges had it like 5 rounds to one, and then one judge had it clean 6-0. So you just working on being even better and better in each fight, even though there with the judges they said that hey, you almost got every single round.
Yeah, I look at it and I see I had moments where I could have got my opponent up out of there. So, next time I got to be able to realize and recognize that I got my guy, on the brink of quitting or stopping, and I need to make sure I capitalize on that. But it was still a B performance. I still feel like I did pretty good. It was a clean, it was a almost a clean sweep, like you said. So, you know, uh, it was really good for me.
Yeah, gotcha. And this is part of a fairly active 2024. You that was like your fourth fight this year. I know that you had like a couple of fights that were under the Pro Box TV circuit there, where you had a couple of decision wins on that one. What was it like to go over there in the Plant City area and score those wins under Pro Box?
I mean, it was good. The Pro Box umbrella. They have 50-50 fights over there. So, it was I had some tough fights, and I did my thing. It was clean sweeps over there too. So, I made sure that I took care of business. My two fights over there, and then I had another fight that my dad got me in back in my hometown of Louisville, Kentucky,
Yeah.
and stopped him, and my last fight on Top Rank. That was my biggest fight of the year, and it was a good fight for me as well. So, all in all, I feel like it's my best year in boxing.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, and you're just looking forward to what's going on in 2025. Just building on what you had there this year. Like you was talking about, you had the two pro box fights, and you're able to secure a fight there in your hometown, Louisville, Kentucky. Same as what Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? But how is it to kind of like build on your record? Like you said, 4 fights this year, basically 4 fights last year, and just staying active there in the pro circuit.
Uh, See, my last fight I mean, my last year, only had one fight.
Yeah,
So, you know, um, being able to have half of the fights I got now, all in this year, it was definitely a blessing for me to be able to progress my career and become a better fighter. Through every fight, I've learned something and progress. So, being able to get these opportunities this year. I mean, I'm truly blessed for sure, but next year I feel like I'm on to bigger and better things. Starting off the year with a bang.
gotcha. Now like you said, just 19 years old, or you had your pro debut there when you was around like 17, 16 years old or whatnot. So you pretty much like coming there as like a baby, basically. You know what I mean? Getting a couple of wins there, then starting up like you said there with a couple of fights here and there, and then a very active 2024. Like what was it to like have those the pro debut over there in Mexico, and like I think it was like one other fight over there in Mexico.
Man, it was honestly surreal. You know, going to Mexico and having that opportunity to have a different look in boxing. When amateurs you wearing the headgear and you're wearing bigger gloves, but as soon as you get into that pro circuit, it's a different it's different. So just getting in there with a grown man and little gloves with no headgear was definitely different for me. And but I was able to seize the moment, and it was really fun going out there, and I loved it. I loved it out there.
Now, like how long was it for you to like go from the amateur ranks over to the pro circuit to kind of like get into the mix of what was going on there in the pro game?
Honestly, I feel like that's all. This has always been my style. Like with how I box, I never really changed my style from an amateur style to a pro style. I've always fought this way. So I feel like this was just my type of fighting, my type of boxing. Even since I was 10, 11 years old. So you know, being able to have that as a segue into pro. I mean, it was an easy transition for me. I didn't have to change anything. I just had to better what I do. That's all. And on top of that, it was around COVID time, so I was able to really hone in on my craft and not really have to worry about anything but boxing.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, with you, with it being like lockdown and stuff, all you can do is, basically just stay in there and get yourself sharp there with boxing. You don't have to worry about, that many other distractions or, going that many other places there. You can just focus, like you said, focus on your craft. Now, let's talk about, your camp out there. Of course, you have your father there. That's part of your camp or your team there that's getting you prepared. So like what is it to like have your dad there alongside with you, going from amateurs to pros.
He's been there since ever since I was about what 10 years old, training me. So he knows me to the T. He knows me, what I do, what I don't do, what I should do, or how to better me and push me. So I'm definitely I love him for it. I love having him around me and being able to just better myself, and he knows what to do and how to really get on my nerves to push me and push that nerve. So he's I feel like it's a blessing in disguise. Sometimes I might not want to do something, but
Mm-hmm.
he's always there to make sure that everything, it doesn't last forever. So just knock it out the way.
Gotcha, gotcha. Now following up on that, like what would be one thing that would stand out that he kind of like gets you on sometimes? Like, I don't know, maybe it could be sometimes during sparring or during the fight or something, and he'll be like or something like that. Like, what could be something there that he says that, might that he might, kind of like instill in you, over time.
I mean, it honestly, it's a good example of my last fight. I had Emmanuel Savoy, Flick Savoy in my corner, and he was getting in the ring every round. But the guy Eric, he headbutted me in around the fourth round. So
Mm-hmm.
Flick got in after the fourth round, and we were talking, and I could, you could visibly see that I was still messing with my eye. But
Mm-hmm.
after that fifth round, my dad, he got in the ring for that last round and kind of flipped the switch. He came in and immediately was like, "Oh yeah, he's outworking you," and that kind of got me. Like, I was like, how is he outworking me? And he was like, "Just trust me, he's outworking you. Just you gotta get out there and work."
Mm-hmm.
So he knew to kind of push me on that end, and he
Mm-hmm.
knew what to say to kind of to push me for that last round to
Right.
make sure that you know I I worked for that last round.
Yeah, push to that next level and things like that to, kind of like, hit the switch and everything to, kind of get you going through that last round. And, you got, Manuel, as say Flick. I mean, that's my guy Flick. He's over in the area that I'm in around the DMV area. So that, he's basically from there and, moved out there to the Vegas area. So he's been doing some good work out there in Vegas. And of course, they're part of your team.
Yes, sir. Flick and Coach K Karoma too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, for sure, for sure. Now, I mean, you were coming up there, in the amateur ranks and that type of stuff, man. I would kind of like ask, usually, with young people come up through the amateur ranks, what would you say is like the city or area that you went to that kind of like stands out as like, man, this was like a great experience or something like that.
As far as like tournaments or
It
like
could be
sparring.
tournaments or like anything.
Uh, I mean, I've been around a lot. I mean, I went to Texas, Ohio, like Cincinnati area. Honestly, I really like with amateurs. I want to say around like Texas was really deep. You know, I had a lot of rivals, a lot of wars out with the Texas amateurs. Um, but also California. We always went down to California. Uh, living out here in Vegas, we went out to Cali a lot to
Yeah.
spar and a lot of the regional tournaments as well. So it was great work out there too.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Now, of course, they're, being in the Vegas area, that is, definitely the fight capital of the world, as they say. So, of course, you run into a lot of notable fighters there, whether it's current fighters or, past fighters. What would you say are some experiences that you had with some fighters that have stood out here so far in your pro career?
I honestly my best I want to say my best experience was after my third fight in December in out here in Vegas. I mean 2022. Um One of my favorite fighters, one of my favorite current fighters, he was at my fight. Um Earl Spence, he seen my fight and he gave me my props and gave me some advice and that really stuck with me and I'm it kind of I was kind of starstruck after my fight, just for him to give me the words of encouragement and advice to keep going and keep pushing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about it. It's like, you have those fighters, that have come up through the ranks and been, world champions, unified world champions in the case of Errol Spence Jr. there. And, he's, showing up at the, whether at the fights or for pro fights or amateur fights to, kind of like show love to the, young fighters such as yourself. So, that's the thing about it. It's just basically like passing the torch or, giving the knowledge down, handing the knowledge down for the young fighters to take there along the way. You know what I mean? So, that's definitely good there. Now, wanted to, get back into that, fight card that you had or that fight with you had with Eric Howard. You were able to get a, like I said, the near clean sweep victory. Were there like, other fights that you saw there in the fight card? Of course, that was part of DB3. Keyshawn, Kelvin Keon were also, featured in there. Troy Isley was on there among others. So, like, what did you see out there in the fights that were, included on that top ranked card?
Man, it was a big card. It was a great card, especially for up and coming fighters. Up and coming black fighters as well too. So it was a really big card. Abdullah Mason, that was a great fight as well.
Hmm?
You know, but I mean Keyshawn, that kind of it didn't really surprise me. I really feel like it was a lot of people that said that Keyshawn was just going to go out there and outbox Limos, but I mean, I had a feeling that he was gonna knock him out, and he did just that. So, you know, uh, it was a great card, and he was in his hometown, so he really brought out the city. Uh, Being in that arena, it was a lot of folks out there. So, even in my fight too, it was a lot of people in the stands for the second fight. It was really deep out in Norfolk, and
Yeah.
it was nice.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. I mean, Norfolk is a fight town, and it's like it's been a good little while since they, had a fight card, out there. And, given the history of Norfolk, Virginia, or that, basically that area, it's been well overdue that they had, a fight card out there. And for, Keyshawn to, host that fight, his fight there against Gustavo Lemos out there and have his brothers there. Keon Davis with his pro debut out there, that was definitely big. You saw like Bruce Smith, in the attendance out there. Mike Vick was out there. Pusha T from Clips was out there, so you definitely had a few notable stars out there. You also saw like Shakur Stevenson and Terrence Crawford was out there as well, too. So definitely a number of notable folks were there for that particular fight card. Now, real quick, given that you're very young there, 19, there's been like a number of, young fighters that have been out there in the game. I mentioned there Keon Davis. You also had like Zakeem Moses that had his pro debut on that weekend. We have like a number of other young fighters that have been, having or doing their thing here this year. So, is there like any other fighters that maybe around your class that you kind of like watch for?
Um, Honestly, no, I'm worried about me. I'm focused on me. I make sure that you know, I can be the best me I can be, and I'm worried about my next fight, my next opponent. So, I'm not really worried about not really looking into all the other up and coming fighters. They all do good in their aspect. But, at the end of the day, I'm worried about it, it's boxing. So
Yeah,
it's a one man sport, and I gotta focus on you know, my opponents and whatever I got coming up,
yeah, for
just so I can be the best me I can be and become a world champion and an undisputed one at that.
Gotcha, gotcha. As they say, hey, they're in their lane and I'm in mine, and I'm just going straight ahead on my lane and making sure that I get to my destination. So, whatever they're doing, that's cool. But I'm, just keeping straight forward on the road to make sure that I get to my destination. And as you said, like a undisputed world champion. I mean, currently right now, you're kind of like competing around that what is it, like the lightweight division around that range. Do you like plan to be as active as possible there within that 135-pound division come 2025?
Right now I'm at 130. I've been doing catch weights at 132, but
Okay.
I definitely look forward into becoming a world champion at 130. I've been I've been studying and watching all four of the champions.
Mm,
So I'm definitely looking ahead to 130 in the contenders and the champions at 130 right now.
yeah, I mean that's something there at 130. It's been a very active division. I mean, we just had that rematch there with O'Shaka Foster and Roseland Conceição, and then coming up we got what is it, Manuel Navarrete versus Oscar Valdez in a rematch too. So that's yeah, like you said, that particular division is very active and a lot of activity going on there in that particular division. And I think if I'm not mistaken, they had Raymond Ford recently move up to 130 pounds. They had his fight on Saturday too. So it's definitely a lot of action there at 130.
Man, I can't wait till I get into the position, man. It's gonna get real spooky. It's gonna get busy, get active for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. So with that going on, do you aspire to try to get about like say 5 fights in 2025? I mean, you've had like there's 4 fights here in 2024, so I'm like 5 and 25. How about that one?
I feel like we're gonna start really early. So, I mean, five fights is definitely realistic. I had a fight in May, so and then I had another fight in September. So it's kind of a dip in the action for this year, where I feel like next year we can five is definitely possible.
Gotcha, gotcha. Now, where do you mainly work at or train at over there in Vegas, or do you just go to various gyms?
Right now we're training over at Knuckleheads. You know, the Sean Gibbons, his gym. They they took K Coach K is over there, so
Mm.
all of his fighters over there right now. So we've been training over at Knuckleheads. There's a lot of great work over there.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. And with Sean Givens, of course, Noble. manager there in the boxing game too. So of course you'd see a lot of number of notable fighters, as I say, they're under MP Promotions, who he's part of. So you definitely could get some good work in and see some great fighters there as well. Now, we just winding down here. I would say usually, um, for some that may not know about you, like what is one thing you would say is something that you would kind of say makes you unique, I guess, in a boxing game or anything like that?
Honestly, is it's me. Like, I got a different footwork to me. I got I got a different attitude with me too. So I feel like I'm versatile. There's a lot of fighters that is specifically a boxer or specifically a puncher or specifically a brawler. But I feel like I can, I'm a tale of all stories. I can do what I need to do to get in there and get that win. I mean, it's not many fighters that I feel like there's not many fighters that can do that, and I just feel like I'm one of them.
Gotcha. Boxer, brawler, puncher, mover, defensive specialist, all that type of stuff. So you have all of those intangibles and the intangibles as well. For your opponents, you'll have to think about a multitude of things there. Once they step in the ring with you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I do it all, but I just make sure I don't get hit.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. There you go, there you go. So, big thanks here for taking the time to join us here on the Boxing Source, and definitely want to see more of you here in the future. Like I said, man, I'm looking for like 5 fights in 2025. But before we roll out, go ahead and like drop your social media handles where folks will follow you and everything like that.
You can go ahead and follow me on Instagram at King Robert I, and also on Twitter as well, at Big King Robert. And follow my dad too. He's always promoting me as well. At two underscores Coach Rob, two underscores again. And we on to great things next year. Make sure y'all tune in next year.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So there y'all have it, y'all. It's the King, Robert Meriwether III. Y'all be sure to watch for him here in 2025.